Alright, this is how to play Tangled Up in Blue by Bob Dylan off of Blood on the Tracks. Again, shout out to S2 Cell Tape for recommending I do this one. I know a lot of people have wanted me to do it, but today's the day, finally getting around to it. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways you can play this. I'm just going to show you the standard tuning version. I've seen people play capo on the 2nd fret and on the 7th fret. And a lot of the tracks on Blood on the Tracks are in a specific tuning, but this is one you can play in standard tuning. Yeah, so it's an intro and then verse and then kind of like a chorus part where he says Tangled Up in Blue. And the chords are pretty simple. So intro would be A. And what he does is he hammers on the 3rd fret 2nd string with his pinky and then pulls it off. So it sounds like... Now, what you can do also when you hammer on, you can take off your pointer finger, and then when you pull off, you can put it back. So yeah, the intro would sound like this. You can do it whichever way you think sounds best. I personally think just keeping all the fingers down and doing the hammer on and pull off sounds the best. But yeah, that's the intro. Now the verse is also pretty simple. You just start again with that A chord. Early one morning, when he says sun, goes to G. Sun was shining. Back to A. I was laying in. Back to G. Bed. Wondering if she changed it all. Now it ends a little different with the D. Hair was still red. Now with the D, you can kind of do the Hendrix thing where he puts his thumb over the 6th string 2nd fret to get a more fuller sounding D chord. But you don't have to do that. Completely optional. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole entire verse. I'll go ahead and play the intro with the verse. Yeah. The sun was shining, I was laying in bed, wondering if she'd changed it all, if her hair was still red. Her folks, they said our lives together sure were gonna be rough. Never did like a mama's homemade dress, Papa's bank book wasn't big enough. So you do that chord pattern twice, and then it gets to like the chorus part where he says Tangled Up in Blue. So the first chord in that is E major. And I was standing on the side of the road. It's a F sharp. Side of the road. So it's like you're barring the 2nd fret and then your ring and pinky are on the 4th fret of the 4th and 5th string. So you'd go E, F sharp, back to A. Rain falling on my... And then D, shoes. And then you do that same exact pattern. Heading out for the East Coast. Lord knows I paid some dues. And when he says getting through, you go back to E, through. And then finally, when he says Tangled Up in Blue, you do G, D, and then A. Tangled up in blue. And then you kind of do the same thing you did in the intro. Or you can just do the G until the next verse starts. So I will attempt to play the intro, the verse, the chorus, and then kind of go back into that verse again. So it would go. Early one morning, the sun was shining. I was laying in bed, wondering if she'd changing all over, hell was still red. Her folks, they said our lives together sure gonna be rough. Mama liked the homemade dress, Papa's banquet wasn't big enough. And I was standing on the side of the road, rain falling on my shoes, heading out for the East Coast. Lord knows I paid some dues getting through, tangled up in blue. She was married when we first met, soon to be divorced. And then it just keeps going and going. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole entire thing. Now, when you do the verse part where you just go alternating from A to G, what you can do is just do an A bar chord and then just slide it down 2 frets to get to that G. And then just slide it back up to get back to A. And then that C chord would be all the way up here on the 10th fret. Just the same exact bar chord pattern. I personally think doing it up here sounds the best. Yeah, now I guess I can show you also what it would sound like using the capo. And then if you want to do it up here on the 7th. You know, whatever you want to do. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that was easy enough to understand. In terms of strumming, you kind of just want to go up and down, up and down, up and down to try to get the same rhythm that he does in the song. Or if you want to play it slower, you know, you can play it slower if you want. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that was good enough to pick up and understand. Bye.